Welcome, welcome, welcome. A big old howdy from Fort Worth, Texas to all my fellow warriors in health. Greetings, YouTube family and friends. Today we're going to talk about health and a couple of different aspects of health and this channel. I'm not going to go into all the details while this is the third draft. Let's just suffice it to say that it started out as a poolside chat and the phone overheated. Yes, it's rather hot today, so I'm doing it from the air conditioning, and you can see I have a little bit of a new setup here. Let me move the camera a little bit. I've been rather busy reorganizing this apartment, but that's not what this talk is about, so let's get right to it. First off, I have to thank everybody who's joined me recently. My new subscribers, my new watchers, and all those people that are just running the playlist. You don't know how much I appreciate that. I have two major playlists now. One is the almost 15 latest videos, and the other is, I think, 42 videos, all the videos posted on the site. If you just click on that playlist and click play all and let it run when you go to bed, I would greatly appreciate it. But let's get into the gist of today. Okay, I've had two doctor's visits since we spoke last week. This video, of course, because of the 102-degree days and my phone overheating at the pool, this one's going to be delayed also. It'll be posted Tuesday morning, which I think is, Tuesday evening. I'll have it ready in the morning, but it won't go live until tomorrow night, probably about 4:45 p.m. So today is actually Tuesday, July 27th, that'll be posted. I'm filming it at 11 o'clock p.m. Monday, July 26th, since earlier efforts were a bomb. A fail, yes, I failed at first two attempts. But about the two doctor's visits, I had an endodontist on Tuesday and Dr. Mabry on Thursday. So let me rock back here a little bit and tell you about those. You can see I've lost a little bit of weight, but I have a bit to go still. In fact, I lost 3.7 pounds last week according to the Verta app, so that's good. I'm hoping to go for 4 this coming week, the next 2 weeks. I'll tell you why in just a minute. Tuesday was the endodontist because I'd gone to my dentist maybe 2 weeks ago because I had one of those little spells on the side of my face, and then I realized that the tooth above that had a root canal in it. It was kind of hurting. So they did find out that I had an infection in that root canal when I went to the dentist. And he sent me to the endodontist because they have better imaging equipment, and it also cost a whole lot more to have that 3D x-ray taken that the machine spins around your head like the CT scan or the MRI, except you're not in a little tube, so that's good. You're standing up and the tube is spinning around, comes down from the top and spins around a couple times and gets your tooth from all angles. So the endodontist did point out that I had an infection at the bottom of both posts on that root canal. And he told me to take a picture of it and show it to Dr. Mabry when I went to see him on Thursday. That he would wait until, see what Dr. Mabry had to say, whether he thought it could be causing the thing on my face or not, and then the endodontist would decide what course of treatment to take based on that diagnosis. And how those two interrelate, I'm not really sure, but I'm glad he wasn't pushy. I'm glad he deferred to Dr. Mabry. So Thursday, I took the night off. It's a long drive up there, so it's 3 hours round trip to Dr. Mabry's office, so I kind of tend to make a whole day out of it. I did get up there, and he, let's see if I can bring this in. Oh, that's a little too close. There we go. Then you don't have my big belly in the whole thing. But anyway, I went. I was supposed to go by and see the wellness director of the city and pick up a few little of these novelty items you can earn by drinking water or working during your shift. But her husband had gotten a fever the night before, so she emailed me and said she wasn't going to be in the office. So then I had another extra hour to kill to get up there. I was already up and kind of ready to go. So I looked up a friend on Facebook to see what 24 hours she was working at and found that it was actually one that I could easily go by taking a little detour. So I went up by DFW Airport and out 635 instead of through downtown Dallas and then up 75 from there. So you go to the airport and then you cut across 635 and then you still get on 75, but you miss all that downtown mess. And God bless anybody that lives in Dallas. I don't like driving through there, but I have to get to the doctor. So I was kind of glad to bypass it. And I also got to see my buddy Karen up there at the, what is that called? Valley Ranch 24-hour fitness. Tonight I got my Hofbrau Steaks shirt on. And if you noticed in the thumbnail, it was the back of the shirt. It says, "The ribeyes of Texas are upon you." When I first got this shirt, I really thought literally upon me because I was a little obese at the time. Now I'm just overweight. So that's a good progress. Like I said, Verta said I was down 3.7 pounds this week, and that's a little above average, and I hope to be above average the next 2 weeks so I can get down to the weight I was the day I had the stroke, 6 years after the stroke, after adding on, about 60 extra pounds in the process and then losing them all again, time and time again. This time I think it's for good with the low-carb, healthy fat. So anyway, I saw Karen at the 24-hour fitness in Valley Ranch, and my friend Jennifer and Sam, they put a postponement on my visit with them. They also live in the Valley Ranch area. I would have been glad to see him, but I'll be glad to see him in 3 months when I go back. So Dr. Mabry took one look at that x-ray and said, "Oh yeah, see these dark spots here? That's infection." Well, I knew that part, but what I had noticed, I just didn't know what it meant, was at the top, there's 2 posts that stick up, and then there's your tooth, and then you can see the gold crown in the x-ray. Well, the tooth was kind of like this on the post. You could see a gap between it. So he deduces that the tooth had come loose from one of the posts, which I think was the front one, but x-rays kind of get me backwards because they're kind of backwards when you look at them, but kind of like me looking at this screen and trying to say, oh, the thing's over here, or look over here, and the thing's really over there. But anyway, you get the point. But because that tooth was maybe broken off of the support, he said when I'm chewing or eating or swallowing, I'm pushing it down, and and there's an opening there, so food and saliva and bacteria can get down into that root canal and cause an infection. And what the endodontist told me, he was a very nice young man. I hadn't met him before because it was the first time there. But he said that the antibiotic really only kind of lowers the pain for a while, but once you stop, the bacteria grows back, and it grows back with a vengeance. So you really have to do something about it, but he was going to wait and see what Dr. Mabry said before we decided what to do about it. So Dr. Mabry said, yeah, with it being that low on that side, and the nerve that's acting up right here on the bottom and then going up the side and across the top, it's all one nerve. It comes out here and then it splits. So it could start here and go up. He said it was possible that the infection in the tooth was causing it, because maybe when I'd been walking, I'd clenched my teeth or something, or gotten upset, grind my teeth, and that could have caused more pain there to trigger the nerve. But so anyway, the plan now, according to Dr. Mabry, is to go back to the endodontist and have that, whatever they want to do, done. He was thinking maybe they could take the tooth off the other post, take out those posts, clean out the holes, put in new posts, reattach the tooth, and I wouldn't have to have a whole new crown made. But if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Well, I called the endodontist back on Friday, and he was in doing a procedure, or a treatment, I guess is what the receptionist called it. So they were supposed to get back with me and let me know what they wanted to do, and then get in touch with my insurance and find out how much it was going to cost me, and then they would call me. So I guess they were trying to reach the insurance today because they never reached out to me. Okay, then I went over 2 other things with Dr. Mabry, which are not necessarily related to this diet or this way of eating. One was, it kind of was, because he was trying to tell me that insulin resistance is not, there's three things that can cause it, and they're not only one of them is your way of eating. The way of eating I've gotten under control, but apparently stress can cause insulin resistance. And as we've emailed back and forth, and I've, he said I was under stress on the trip, which was probably what triggered this. And then I was under stress the night at work when it went off again. And so he was looking at stress, and apparently the way stress affects insulin resistance is it creates adrenaline because you're kicking into the fight or flight response. So when your adrenaline goes up, it attaches to, I guess, a beta cell, because he's talking about putting me on a beta blocker. And I think that keeps it from attaching to these cells. But anyway, once it hits the receptor, then your body makes cortisol, which is the same problem you have in the morning with the dawn effect when your blood glucose is higher and your weight is higher because of the cortisol that your body is pumping out to get you moving in the morning. You have to have a little extra to get up and get going first thing in the morning. So you don't want to take your blood glucose or your ketones within the first hour and a half of waking up if you're doing the blood finger prick to test it. So anyway, he said that a lot of doctors and public speakers take one of these beta blockers before they're going to give a speech, before they're going to make a YouTube video, and it just calms them down. It basically stops the receptor from accepting the adrenaline. So you're still making the adrenaline, but you're not making the cortisol. So it's something about, and I have to look up the word, autonomic, something like that. You got two different kinds of nervous systems. One goes off in one instance and the other one goes off in another. And you really want the other one to go off to calm you down. But usually you got the bad one going off. Let's just call them bad and good. And by next week I'll look up. It's something anyway, it's easier to do some kind of breathing technique where you breathe in 3 seconds and breathe out for 7. And the breathing out triggers the better nervous system to calm you down. And short breaths or breathing in or increasing oxygen activates the other one. But all in all, they increase your insulin resistance, which makes it harder to lose weight, makes it harder to keep your blood sugar under control and your ketones up. So he wanted to prescribe me this beta blocker for performance anxiety. I thought in my mind, oh boy, that sounds like a Viagra commercial. I wish there was another name we could use for it. But it's basically the feeling in your gut when you're stressed. And so I said, I hope you're not going to put high blood pressure in my record because I don't want that in there. He said, no, we're going to put something else. Oh, this is getting long already. I guess we'll be here a little while tonight, but we'll get it done. Okay, so that was number 2. And then number 3 is I'm considering a career change or a job change or whatever you want to call it, changing companies or leaving the city and going to somewhere that pays me or pays into Social Security, because I'm finding out that the pension with the city actually reduces my Social Security it's like 2 to 1, $2 I make at the city, I lose $1 in Social Security. And the pension actually went down like $50 a month since last year on the projection. So I'm not thinking that the city is the best place for me to be right now. But since I still have insurance, we were going to address this umbilical hernia that I have, which is kind of embarrassing. It popped out when I became obese, and now that I'm just overweight, it's like a flashing light. Oh, look at the fatty, look at the fatty. So we're going to get that fixed. And I called the surgery people today, and because of the Wu-Fu bat flu, they've waived all the co-payments for this year. So whatever my insurance pays is what it's going to cost. So it is a good time to get it done while I still have the insurance. And it's a minor surgery. I'm sure they just have to cut it and tuck it back in somehow. Somehow when my stomach expanded and I gained weight, it went from an innie to an outie, if you know what I mean. And I can push it back in, but it doesn't stay in. So it's just a little cosmetic thing, maybe a vanity thing that kind of bothers me. And I'll cut out one of the things I was going to talk about. But remember in the willpower thing, no, I'm sorry, in the inflation one last week, I talked about some kind of staples you might have on hand if the doo-doo really hit the fan. And I said, I'm not going to buy rice or pasta, but if I happen to come across some, I will put them in the cabinet. Well, the very next night I come home from work and a neighbor on another floor had put a whole big box of all kinds of dry goods out with free, or 2 or 3 boxes actually of free, please take. There were bags of rice, there were bags of spaghetti, there were bags of some kind of spirally macaroni and some little pre-made or box macaroni and cheeses and all. It was almost like, and a lot of it said Hello Fresh, so I think they probably subscribe to the meal thing, but they don't want to eat the pasta and the rice, so they put it in the box and give it away. So I put some in my cabinet. So I said if it came up, I would take it, and then immediately it came up, I gave the rest away to my coworkers who are basically vegetarians. And then one thing I have been mentioning in the past, and it's about time to do the intro to it, and hopefully a lot of you are still here, even though it's been a kind of long video. But I've been talking about the 30-day challenge, and I mentioned to my immediate supervisor, who we call a shift lead, that I was, planning to exit the company and kind of do more on YouTube. And she mentioned that her son had a very successful YouTube channel. I looked, it was almost 70,000 subscribers. So yeah, I would say that's pretty successful. And she mentioned that you don't want to do too many videos a week because then people get tired of you, they start unsubscribing, and the whole point of doing the videos is to get more subscribers. So I had to reevaluate whether I was going to do a 30-day challenge or not, because I don't want to run you all away. I know I talk a little too long sometimes, like tonight, but I've always promised that I'm going to be as quick as I can, but as long as I need to be. So I will cut out this one thing about crazy keto and do it another time. But I have decided to cancel the 30-day challenge for August and just continue at the slower pace of 1 video per week. And if I get time, I'll do 2. And if down the road I really get time, I might try 3. Or how do you do it in international? 3. I always go like that, but that's how they got killed in that German war movie, because they used the American style of how to put their fingers up. But anyway, I'm not doing the 30-day challenge because I respect you as my viewer, my subscriber. And I really appreciate the ladies at work and in Minnesota that have started playing my playlist. If you haven't subscribed, there's a button, I think, in this corner. No, this corner. The little red, white, and blue thing. You can click on that. It'll take you to subscribe. If you hit the bell, it'll tell you when I post my next video. And that allows you to watch it within the first 24 hours or first 7 days, which really helps boost the YouTube algorithm. And since YouTube is a free site, and the more we keep the algorithm happy, the more they keep the creators happy. So we all want to keep the YouTube algorithm happy. So please click on that. I think it's over there. And please put a comment down below. You can say, I like ribeye. And ribeye is actually a very good food in this low-carb, healthy fat way of eating. It's higher in fat, it's high in protein, doesn't have any carbs, but you can add a little bit of ranch dressing on top or a little bit of butter. Butter doesn't add carbs. Ranch dressing may add 1 per tablespoon. So anyway, I have at least 3 videos already made for the 30-day challenge, so they will probably get posted here and there. They're kind of generic stuff from this psychologist I've been watching. Which, speaking of that, I had a wonderful Zoom call for about an hour and a half tonight with people from all over the world. I think there were 8 or 9 of us. Went everything from the West Coast all the way down to Australia, New Zealand. One gentleman, they said, was in the middle of the day, but I didn't catch where he was at. But I like these people. I like this class. I'm learning a lot. We just started. I have 5 books that came in today. I'll show them to you. My prescription didn't come. It was supposed to come, but Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol S. Dweck, PhD. The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Think Again by Adam Grant. And Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, who I have heard and listened to for many, many years and never bought the book. But Dr. Hardy, the PhD I've been listening to and signed up for his 6-month program, recommends all these books. I'm not sure if they're in the class, but I know Big Leap and Mindset and Eat That Frog are. So I'm going to read something for 15 minutes each night this week. And I appreciate your time. I'm going to end this before it gets horribly long. Thank you. God bless. God bless America and all the world. Bye-bye.